The water appears calm at first glance, a vast stretch of cold ocean broken only by slow-rolling swells and distant clouds, reflecting pale sunlight onto the surface. Beneath that quiet exterior, however, a different world is already moving into position. A small group of seals drifts along the edge of drifting pack ice, scattered loosely across the water. Each animal watches the others with casual awareness, floating upright, occasionally diving for fish or resting with only their heads above the surface. The ocean around them seems open and endless, an enormous arena where escape should be easy. Yet the illusion of freedom hides a simple and brutal truth of life in these waters. In the world of orcas, prey does not escape by swimming faster. Prey escapes only if it avoids being separated. Far below the seals, dark shapes slide silently through the blue water. Orcas do not rush into a hunt the way many predators do. Their approach is deliberate and patient, guided by a level of coordination that resembles a strategic operation more than a chase. Each individual in the group maintains a specific position relative to the others, spreading out across a wide horizontal plane. From above, if the water were transparent, the pattern would resemble a slowly tightening net. The animals communicate through subtle shifts in movement, occasional clicks, and an almost intuitive understanding developed through years of social learning. Orcas live in stable family groups, where hunting techniques pass from one generation to the next, creating local traditions of strategy. In some populations, these strategies become so specialized that neighboring groups hunt in completely different ways, even when targeting the same species. The seals remain unaware of the structure forming beneath them. Their senses are excellent at detecting immediate danger, but the threat developing below them does not appear as a single approaching predator. Instead, it emerges as a gradual rearrangement of the environment. One orca glides upward along the outer edge of the seal group, careful to remain distant enough that the seals do not perceive it as an immediate threat. Another moves quietly through deeper water to the opposite side. A third remains further away, drifting parallel to the group's direction of travel. Each animal is positioned not to strike, but to remove possibilities. This is the essence of what marine biologists sometimes describe as the wall. It is not a physical barrier in the sense of rock or ice. It is a living formation created by bodies moving in deliberate synchrony. The wall appears when escape lanes disappear one by one. Prey animals are not aware of it until they try to leave. A seal dives casually beneath the surface, intending to catch a fish or explore the water below. The moment it descends, it encounters the first piece of the trap. An orca rises slowly in front of it, not accelerating, not lunging, simply occupying the path forward. The seal instantly changes direction, veering away in a burst of speed. But in that new direction, another dark shape appears, larger than the first, blocking the second route. The seal's behavior shifts immediately from calm exploration to rapid, evasive movement. But every direction now leads to another barrier. Above the water, the remaining seals notice the disturbance and begin diving. In a matter of seconds, the scattered group collapses into chaos, bodies twisting through the water in multiple directions. At first glance, the scene appears to favor the seals. They are smaller, faster in short bursts, and capable of sharp turns that larger predators cannot easily match. But the orcas are not pursuing individual targets through open space. Instead, they are quietly reshaping the battlefield. One attacker moves upward from below, forcing two seals toward the surface. Another approaches from the side, not attempting to grab them but driving them back toward the center of the forming perimeter. The prey animals react exactly as their instincts demand. They try to break away from the disturbance, seeking open water where speed and agility might give them an advantage. Yet every attempted escape route is quietly sealed. This form of hunting relies on something deeper than simple speed or strength. It exploits a principle found across many ecosystems. Prey animals depend on space to survive. Distance creates opportunity. Separation from danger allows confusion, maneuvering, and escape. By systematically removing that space, predators remove the prey's primary defense. Orcas possess physical traits that support this strategy. Their bodies are built for endurance swimming rather than explosive sprinting. Long migrations and wide territorial ranges have shaped them into efficient cruisers capable of maintaining moderate speed for extended periods. But their greatest advantage lies in their social intelligence. Each individual adjusts its movement not only to the prey, but also to the positions of other hunters. The result is a dynamic structure that changes constantly while maintaining its overall function. The seals attempt another coordinated dive, plunging deeper into the darker water below the ice. For a moment, the predators disappear from view, and the prey animals surge forward in a desperate burst of speed. But depth provides only temporary relief. Orcas are fully capable of diving deeper than most seals during short pursuits, and more importantly, some members of the hunting group never left the deeper water in the first place. As the seals descend, they find themselves approaching the lower boundary of the trap. A large female orca glides upward directly beneath one of the seals, her pale eye patch briefly visible in the dim blue light. She does not accelerate. She simply rises slowly, forcing the seal to alter course again. Every redirection pushes the prey animal closer to the center of the tightening formation. This method of rotating attackers serves several purposes. By alternating which individuals approach the prey directly, the group maintains pressure without exhausting any single hunter. Orcas are large animals with significant energy requirements, and efficient hunts reduce unnecessary exertion. The rotating formation also keeps the prey constantly off balance. A seal that escapes one attacker immediately encounters another approaching from a different angle. The predator appears to be everywhere at once, even though no single individual maintains continuous pursuit. Above the water, the surface begins to erupt with frantic movement. Several seals burst upward, trying to climb onto drifting ice fragments. One manages to scramble onto a small slab, breathing heavily as it scans the surrounding water. But the ice is unstable, and the slab tilts as waves push against it. The seal slides back into the ocean within seconds, its brief refuge gone. Below the surface, the wall closes further. An orca accelerates suddenly, not toward a specific seal, but through the center of the group. The movement splits the prey animals apart, creating the very condition the predators seek. One seal finds itself separated from the others by several body lengths, a small distance in human terms, but enormous in the fluid geometry of the ocean. Immediately, two orcas shift position, one blocking the route back to the group, while another approaches from behind. Isolation transforms the dynamics of the hunt. A lone prey animal must constantly scan in every direction, dividing its attention among multiple threats. Its bursts of speed become shorter as exhaustion builds, while the predators continue rotating positions with calm precision. The separated seal darts toward the surface again, attempting to leap clear of the water in a desperate maneuver sometimes seen in these hunts. For a brief moment, the animal clears the surface completely, twisting through the air before splashing back into the sea. But the leap achieves little. The predators have not chased it into exhaustion. They have simply waited for the geometry of the hunt to deliver it into the center of the wall. One orca finally accelerates with unmistakable intent. The massive predator lunges upward, jaws opening just beneath the fleeing seal. The moment is sudden but not chaotic. It is the inevitable conclusion of a process that began long before the prey realized it was being hunted. Elsewhere in the ocean, similar scenes unfold every day, though the details vary depending on the species involved. Some orca populations specialize in hunting fish, others target sharks, while certain groups focus almost exclusively on marine mammals. Each prey type requires adjustments in technique, but the underlying principle often remains the same. Isolation precedes capture. The success of this strategy reflects the deep evolutionary history of cooperative hunting. Orcas have developed one of the most complex social systems among marine predators, with family groups that remain stable for decades. Young individuals grow up surrounded by experienced hunters who demonstrate techniques repeatedly across countless hunts. Over time, these behaviors become ingrained traditions, refined and passed down through generations. Even the structure of the wall itself may represent a cultural behavior rather than a purely instinctive one. Different orca populations display distinct hunting formations shaped by local prey species and environmental conditions. In some regions, the wall forms near the surface among ice flows. In others, it develops in open water, using depth layers to confine prey from above and below. As the hunt concludes, the remaining seals scatter across the ocean, diving deeply and swimming in frantic zigzag patterns. The formation dissolves almost as quickly as it appeared. Orcas slow their movements, circling calmly through the water while sharing the captured prey. What moments earlier looked like an organized assault now appears almost peaceful again, the ocean returning to its quiet rhythm. Yet the lesson embedded in the hunt lingers beneath the surface. In the vast open sea, escape depends not only on speed or strength, but on maintaining connection with others. Isolation turns the ocean itself into a trap, and few predators understand how to build that trap better than orcas. Morning light filters down through layers of open ocean that seem, at first glance, almost empty. The water stretches outward in every direction, a vast pelagic wilderness where boundaries are difficult to imagine and escape appears limitless. Sunbeams penetrate the surface and dissolve gradually into deeper blue, illuminating drifting particles and small flashes of silver that move just beyond clear vision. In this environment, space is the most valuable resource an animal can possess. Movement is freedom, and the ability to disperse through open water often determines whether a creature lives or disappears into another animal's stomach. Yet the illusion of boundless space can vanish with startling speed once dolphins begin to reorganize the water around their prey. A scattered school of sardines drifts through the midwater column, thousands of slender bodies flickering like fragments of metal in the shifting sunlight. The fish maintain loose spacing, each individual constantly adjusting its distance from neighbors through subtle changes in direction. This spacing is not random. It represents a balance between two opposing pressures. Spread too far apart, and individuals become easy targets for predators. Crowd too tightly together, and the group loses maneuverability, making sudden directional shifts difficult. Over millions of years of evolution, schooling fish have refined this dynamic spacing into a defensive system that functions almost like a living fluid, capable of expanding, contracting, and twisting through the water in response to threats. For most of the day, that system works remarkably well. Tuna, seabirds, and occasional sharks approach the school, forcing brief bursts of movement as the fish reorganize into tighter formations before dispersing again. But the arrival of dolphins introduces a predator whose hunting strategy does not simply exploit the school. It transforms it. The first dolphins appear far beyond the edges of the sardine swarm, their sleek bodies moving just beneath the surface with relaxed, unhurried strokes. At this distance, they might look like curious travelers passing through the area, yet their movements reveal a quiet pattern. Instead of approaching directly, they begin to fan outward across a wide arc, positioning themselves along the outer boundaries of the fish school. Each dolphin maintains visual contact with the others through subtle shifts in body orientation, and their communication pulses through the water as faint clicks and whistles that carry far beyond the limits of human hearing. Dolphins possess one of the most sophisticated sensory systems among marine predators. Their echolocation operates through bursts of focused sound that travel through water, strike objects, and return as echoes that can be interpreted with extraordinary precision. Within fractions of a second, a dolphin can determine the distance, density, and even approximate shape of objects in the water ahead. A tightly packed school of fish appears to their perception not as individual animals, but as a moving cloud of reflections, a shimmering mass whose boundaries constantly shift. This ability allows dolphins to monitor the entire structure of the prey group while coordinating their own positions with other hunters. The dolphins begin moving closer, but still not in attack formation. Instead, they adopt roles that researchers studying pelagic hunting have come to describe as drivers and strikers. The drivers approach the outer edges of the fish school, accelerating briefly before veering away again, repeating the maneuver from multiple directions. Each movement creates a disturbance in the water that forces the sardines to react. Schools of fish rely heavily on visual cues from neighbors when determining how to respond to threats. A single fish turning sharply can trigger a cascading reaction that spreads through the entire group within seconds. Dolphins exploit this sensitivity by applying pressure along the outer edges of the school, pushing the fish inward without ever fully committing to a strike. From above, the school begins to compress. At first, the change is subtle. The sardines shift closer together as they try to avoid the moving shapes surrounding them. Their bodies flash silver as thousands of individuals turn simultaneously, creating waves of reflected light that ripple across the water column. But as the dolphins continue pressing inward from multiple directions, the spacing between fish narrows further. What began as a loose formation transforms into a dense sphere of motion. This sphere is not formed because the fish intend to cluster so tightly. It forms because every escape route appears to lead toward danger. Whenever a portion of the school attempts to spread outward, a dolphin glides forward from that direction, redirecting the movement back toward the center. The drivers rarely bite during this phase. Their purpose is not immediate capture but spatial control. Open ocean becomes a shrinking room. Above the surface, seabirds begin circling, drawn by the flashes of silver and the sudden turbulence forming beneath them. Gulls and shearwaters wheel through the air, watching carefully for opportunities to dive. Their presence adds another layer of pressure to the prey animals. Fish that attempt to break upward toward the surface encounter sharp-beaked hunters plunging from above. The result is a three-dimensional trap, where danger now surrounds the school on every side. Within the sphere, the sardines accelerate in synchronized motion, their muscles contracting rapidly as they attempt to maintain formation. Yet the tighter the group becomes, the more vulnerable it grows. A dense ball of fish may confuse predators momentarily, but it also concentrates thousands of bodies into a space where even small attacks can remove large numbers of individuals. This stage of the hunt reveals a paradox within the defensive behavior of schooling fish. Panic, which evolved to improve survival against many predators, can become the very mechanism that seals their fate when facing coordinated hunters. As the bait ball forms, the roles of the dolphins begin to shift. Several individuals maintain the outer perimeter, continuing their driving movements to prevent the school from dispersing. Meanwhile, others position themselves below the sphere, preparing for a very different type of movement. The strikers. A dolphin accelerates upward from beneath the bait ball with sudden force, slicing directly through the dense cloud of fish. Its jaws snap rapidly, capturing several sardines in a single pass before it emerges briefly near the surface and arcs back down into deeper water. The attack lasts only seconds, but the effect on the prey is immediate. The sphere tightens further as surviving fish surge inward to fill the gaps left by those that were eaten. Another dolphin follows from the opposite side, driving through the ball horizontally rather than vertically. Each strike fractures the structure of the school for a moment, but the fish immediately reassemble into an even denser cluster. This pattern repeats again and again. Drivers maintain the perimeter, while strikers rotate through the center, attacking from multiple angles in carefully timed bursts. The rotation prevents exhaustion among individual dolphins, while keeping constant pressure on the prey. Over time, the bait ball becomes smaller and denser, its outer surface rippling with frantic movement as the fish attempt to maintain cohesion. Dolphins possess physical adaptations that support this intense style of hunting. Their streamlined bodies reduce drag, allowing rapid acceleration through water. Powerful tail flukes generate bursts of speed capable of overtaking agile fish, while flexible neck joints allow their heads to pivot slightly during rapid lunges. Perhaps most important is their ability to coordinate movements visually and acoustically with other members of the group. Unlike solitary predators that rely on individual pursuit, dolphins transform the hunt into a collective engineering project. The shrinking sphere begins attracting additional predators. From deeper water, a shadow approaches the bait ball, its broad fins slicing through the blue as it circles cautiously. A shark has arrived, drawn by vibrations created by thousands of struggling fish. In many hunting situations, predators compete aggressively for access to prey. Yet during bait ball events, a temporary ecological convergence occurs where multiple species exploit the same opportunity simultaneously. Dolphins continue their rotations while the shark darts forward occasionally, grabbing fish along the edges of the sphere before retreating again. Above the water, the seabirds finally commit to their dives. They plunge downward like arrows, disappearing beneath the surface for brief moments before resurfacing with fish clutched in their beaks. The ocean transforms into a vertical battlefield where predators attack from air, surface, and depth. Despite the chaos surrounding them, the dolphins maintain remarkable organization. Drivers continue circling the bait ball, preventing it from dissolving into open water where individual fish might escape. Strikers coordinate their movements carefully to avoid collisions with one another. Each attack follows a brief window where another dolphin has already cleared a path through the sphere. Inside the bait ball, the sardines move so tightly together that their bodies brush constantly against their neighbors. Oxygen consumption rises rapidly as thousands of fish maintain maximum swimming effort in a confined space. Some individuals begin to fatigue, drifting toward the outer edges where they become easier targets for predators. Eventually, the sphere shrinks to a fraction of its original size. What began as a scattered school occupying a wide volume of ocean now exists as a dense cluster no larger than a small vehicle. At this stage, the hunt accelerates dramatically. Dolphins begin striking more frequently, their bodies flashing through the silver cloud in rapid succession. The remaining fish attempt final escape bursts, but every outward movement meets the same living barrier of predators waiting along the perimeter. One final surge of coordinated attacks collapses the structure completely. The sphere dissolves into fragments as the last sardines scatter through the water. Within moments, the open ocean returns to something resembling its earlier calm, though scattered scales and drifting fish bodies remain suspended in the water column. The dolphins slow their movements, surfacing briefly to breathe before regrouping nearby. For them, the hunt represents not merely a meal, but a demonstration of an evolutionary strategy refined through cooperation and sensory precision. By transforming the boundless ocean into a shrinking sphere of controlled space, they reveal a powerful truth about predator-prey dynamics in pelagic ecosystems. Freedom in the open ocean exists only until the boundaries begin to move. The reef at mid-morning hums with quiet motion. Sunlight pours down through the clear tropical water, breaking into shifting ribbons that dance across coral towers and sandy gaps between them. Schools of small fish hover in loose formations above the reef slope, their bodies flashing silver as they pivot in unison to graze on drifting plankton. Parrotfish scrape algae from coral heads with steady crunching bites, while wrasses dart among the reef crevices, hunting for tiny crustaceans. The entire scene appears relaxed, almost leisurely, as though life here unfolds at an easy rhythm, governed by the warmth of the sun and the gentle movement of the tide. In the middle of this living mosaic, a single shape hangs motionless. It floats slightly above the reef edge where the coral gives way to open water. Its body is long and narrow, built like a blade suspended in the sea. The silver scales reflect the sunlight in soft flashes, but the fish itself barely moves. Only the slightest flick of its pectoral fin stabilizes its position in the water column. Its mouth remains partially open, revealing rows of thin, needle-like teeth that interlock when the jaws close. The eyes are large and dark, fixed forward with an intensity that seems almost mechanical. This is a barracuda. To an inexperienced observer, the fish might appear indifferent, perhaps even sluggish. Compared with the constant motion of smaller reef fish darting around the coral, the barracuda seems strangely passive. Yet this stillness represents one of the most effective predatory strategies in the ocean. The barracuda does not dominate space the way larger predators do. Instead, it dominates time. The reef fish around it continue their routine activities, occasionally drifting within several body lengths of the predator. They notice the barracuda, of course. Few animals ignore such a distinctive silhouette, but its lack of movement reduces the sense of urgency. The predator does not approach, does not chase, does not trigger the immediate panic responses that many prey species display when confronted by active hunters. Stillness can be strangely reassuring. For prey animals that rely on rapid escape responses, danger often becomes real only when motion begins. Fish possess specialized neural circuits that detect sudden changes in their environment. These circuits, sometimes referred to as startle reflex systems, allow fish to react within fractions of a second when a predator lunges nearby. A rapid contraction of the body launches the fish into an explosive turn, propelling it away from the threat before the predator can close the distance. But these reflexes depend on timing. If the prey detects movement early enough, the escape maneuver begins before the predator arrives. If the predator strikes too suddenly, the prey's reaction may start only after the attack is already underway. In that brief window between detection and response lies the advantage that the barracuda has perfected. The predator drifts slightly upward in the water column, adjusting its position relative to the reef slope. Its body remains rigid, almost arrow-straight, minimizing any signals that might alert nearby fish. The barracuda's vision plays a crucial role here. Unlike many reef predators that rely heavily on smell or vibration detection, barracudas possess exceptionally sharp eyesight. Their large eyes allow them to track fast-moving objects with remarkable accuracy, especially in the bright, clear water of tropical reefs. Ahead, a small school of fusiliers approaches along the edge of the reef. These slender fish travel in coordinated groups, constantly shifting their spacing as they feed on plankton carried by the current. Their bodies are designed for endurance swimming, with streamlined shapes that allow them to move efficiently across long distances. Yet their defense strategy depends heavily on collective awareness. By maintaining tight formation, the school can detect predators quickly and scatter in multiple directions if necessary. The fusiliers drift closer to the barracuda. Some individuals veer slightly away as they notice the predator's silhouette. Others continue forward, distracted by the plankton-rich current flowing over the reef slope. Within seconds, several fish pass within striking distance. The barracuda remains perfectly still. Its muscles, however, are primed for a very different state. Beneath the sleek body lies a powerful arrangement of white muscle fibers capable of generating explosive acceleration. Unlike the red muscle used for sustained swimming, white muscle produces short bursts of intense power fueled by stored chemical energy within the tissue. When triggered, these fibers contract simultaneously, propelling the fish forward with astonishing speed. The fusilier school shifts slightly as individuals adjust their positions relative to one another. For a brief moment, one fish drifts slightly apart from the group. That moment is all the barracuda requires. The still body transforms instantly into motion. The predator launches forward like a released spring, its tail delivering a rapid series of powerful strokes that send the body surging through the water. The acceleration is so sudden that the surrounding water forms a faint trail of turbulence behind the moving fish. In less than the blink of a human eye, the barracuda closes the gap between itself and the isolated fusilier. The prey fish senses the attack only at the final instant. Its body begins the characteristic escape maneuver, curling sharply into a rapid turn as its muscles contract in reflex. But the reaction begins too late. The barracuda's jaws snap shut around the fusilier before the prey completes the first phase of its escape movement. Time has been stolen. The entire attack unfolds in a fraction of a second. Nearby fusiliers scatter in a burst of silver flashes, darting away in all directions as their reflex systems finally activate. But the predator has already slowed, the captured fish clamped firmly in its jaws. The barracuda swallows the prey head first, aligning the body carefully to avoid the fins catching inside its throat. Within moments, the predator resumes its original position near the reef edge. The stillness returns. This hunting strategy relies on more than raw speed. Barracudas possess anatomical features that support these lightning-fast strikes. Their elongated bodies reduce drag during acceleration, while their deeply forked tails generate powerful thrust. The jaws are equipped with sharp, dagger-like teeth designed not for chewing, but for seizing and slicing through prey during high-speed encounters. Yet the most important component remains the timing of the strike. Barracudas often position themselves near environmental boundaries where fish naturally pass while feeding or traveling. Reef edges, drop-offs, and current lines serve as ideal locations. In these zones, prey species concentrate temporarily, creating predictable patterns of movement. By waiting patiently within these corridors, the barracuda increases the likelihood that a vulnerable fish will drift within range. The predator does not need to pursue prey across long distances. Instead, it allows the flow of life within the reef ecosystem to bring opportunities directly to its position. Elsewhere along the reef slope, other barracudas hover in similar positions, each occupying a small section of water where fish traffic remains steady. These individuals rarely cooperate in coordinated hunts. Their strategy depends on solitary precision rather than group tactics. Yet their presence influences the behavior of countless smaller fish species. Schools of reef fish often maintain a cautious distance from barracudas, adjusting their routes to avoid drifting too close to these silent predators. In doing so, they reshape the patterns of movement across the reef. The barracuda becomes not only a hunter, but also a subtle architect of spatial behavior within the ecosystem. Occasionally, the predator shifts its location slightly, gliding along the reef edge before settling into another motionless hover. Each movement positions the fish in a new vantage point where currents carry prey within striking distance. For hours at a time, the barracuda may perform this patient surveillance, conserving energy while waiting for the precise moment when opportunity and timing align. As afternoon light intensifies, the reef grows busier. Schools of fish move in and out of the water column, feeding on plankton blooms stirred by tidal currents. The barracuda remains where it is, suspended between reef and open sea like a silver spear resting in the water. Nearby fish pass cautiously around it, aware of its presence yet unable to predict when motion might suddenly erupt. For the barracuda, victory does not come from controlling the ocean's vast spaces. It comes from controlling the smallest fragments of time, those tiny intervals between awareness and reaction, when the difference between escape and capture is measured in fractions of a second. The ocean surface shimmers under a wide sky, a restless mirror broken by small waves and streaks of reflected sunlight. From above, the water looks almost empty, an immense field of shifting blues and whites where nothing seems to hide. Seabirds drift lazily on the breeze, occasionally dipping toward the surface to inspect flashes of life below. A solitary seal moves through the water with easy confidence, its sleek body gliding just beneath the surface film. The animal rises occasionally to breathe, then sinks again, twisting through the upper layer of the ocean where fish are abundant and sunlight penetrates deeply enough to illuminate the surroundings. From the seal's perspective, the world appears open and visible. Its large eyes scan the surrounding water constantly, trained by evolution to detect movement and contrast. The surface layer offers the seal certain advantages. Light from above reveals approaching objects more clearly than deeper, darker water. The animal's whiskers, sensitive to subtle vibrations, detect disturbances created by swimming prey or nearby animals. The seal relies on these sensory systems to maintain awareness in an environment where danger often appears without warning. Yet the surface also creates an illusion, and that illusion has been exploited for millions of years by one of the ocean's most formidable predators. Far below the seal, where sunlight weakens and fades into a deeper cobalt blue, a shape moves with slow, deliberate motion. The great white shark does not patrol the upper layers constantly. Instead, it often approaches from deeper water, rising gradually through the darker zone beneath the sunlit surface. At these depths, the shark becomes almost invisible when viewed from above. The fading light removes contrast, blending the predator into the dim background of the ocean. The shark's body design plays a crucial role in this concealment. Its dorsal surface is dark gray, sometimes nearly black, depending on the angle of light and the individual's habitat. The underside, however, is pale, almost white. This coloration pattern, known as counter-shading, represents one of the most effective camouflage strategies in marine environments. When viewed from above, the dark back merges with the darkness of deeper water. When viewed from below, the light underside blends with the brightness of the sunlit surface. The result is a body that becomes difficult to detect from either direction. In the case of the great white shark, this camouflage works in combination with the optical conditions created by the ocean surface. Sunlight striking the water produces intense glare and constantly shifting reflections. For animals swimming near the surface, this glare forms a visual barrier that hides details beneath it. Even large objects moving upward from below can remain concealed until the final moments of an attack. The seal continues moving through the upper water column, occasionally diving to pursue fish before returning toward the surface to breathe. Each time it approaches the air-water boundary, it enters the zone where great white sharks often strike. The seal's senses remain alert, but the greatest threat is not approaching horizontally through visible water. It is rising vertically from the blind angle created by light itself. Below the seal, the shark adjusts its trajectory. Great white sharks possess sensory systems that extend far beyond vision alone. Along their snout and head lie tiny electroreceptors capable of detecting weak electrical signals produced by the muscles and nervous systems of nearby animals. These receptors allow the shark to perceive subtle biological activity in the surrounding water, even when visibility is limited. In addition, the shark's lateral line system detects vibrations and pressure waves traveling through the ocean, providing information about the movements of swimming prey. Together, these senses create a detailed picture of the environment long before the predator becomes visible. The shark ascends slowly at first, conserving energy while aligning its approach beneath the seal's position. This early phase of the attack is not explosive. It is calculated positioning. Sharks are powerful swimmers, but even their muscular bodies require efficient use of energy to sustain repeated hunts. The predator therefore waits until geometry favors a successful strike. From above, the seal remains unaware. Sunlight reflects off the rippling surface, scattering bright patterns across the water. Beneath those reflections, the darker depths appear uniform and featureless. To the seal's eyes, nothing moves in the blue void below. The shark continues rising. At a certain depth, the predator begins to accelerate. The muscular tail sweeps side to side with increasing force, generating a powerful forward thrust that propels the shark upward through the water column. This burst of speed is made possible by the shark's physiology. Great white sharks possess large masses of red muscle tissue, rich in blood vessels that support sustained swimming. At the same time, their white muscle fibers enable sudden explosive bursts when attacking prey. The timing of the acceleration is critical. If the shark begins too early, the seal might detect the disturbance and escape. If the shark begins too late, it may fail to reach the prey before the animal changes direction. Through evolutionary refinement and individual experience, sharks develop remarkable precision in judging this moment. As the shark surges upward, the seal's world remains dominated by surface glare. Light refracts across the water, creating a chaotic mosaic of brightness that masks subtle movement below. The predator rises directly through this optical curtain. Only in the final instant does the shape become visible. The water beneath the seal erupts as the massive shark bursts upward from below. The predator's body twists slightly during the strike, jaws opening wide to reveal rows of triangular teeth designed for cutting through flesh. The suddenness of the attack leaves almost no time for reaction. The seal attempts to twist away, its powerful flippers beating frantically against the water, but the momentum of the shark's ascent carries the predator through the upper layers with overwhelming force. This form of ambush hunting represents one of the most dramatic examples of vertical predation in the marine world. Rather than pursuing prey through extended chases, the great white shark relies on surprise, positioning, and explosive acceleration. In many attacks, the shark breaches partially or completely out of the water, its massive body propelled by the upward force of the strike. The spectacle appears sudden and violent, yet every element of the maneuver is shaped by environmental physics and anatomical design. When the shark descends again beneath the surface, the water gradually returns to its earlier calm. Ripples spread outward from the disturbance, and seabirds circle lower over the site of the attack. Within moments, the ocean regains its quiet appearance, as though nothing extraordinary has occurred. Yet beneath that calm lies a finely tuned system of predator and prey interactions. The success of great white sharks in coastal ecosystems depends on their ability to exploit predictable patterns in prey behavior. Seals and sea lions frequently travel near the surface where they must breathe regularly. These breathing cycles create repeated opportunities for predators positioned below. The shark does not need to chase continuously through open water. It only needs to align its position with the moments when prey rise toward the light. Countershading enhances this strategy by ensuring that the shark remains difficult to detect until the final seconds of the attack. Even animals with sharp eyesight struggle to distinguish the predator against the darker background of deeper water. Meanwhile, the intense brightness of the surface layer prevents prey from seeing clearly into the depths. In this way, the ocean itself becomes part of the predator's camouflage. Great white sharks also exhibit subtle behavioral adjustments depending on local environmental conditions. In regions where sunlight penetrates deeply into the water, sharks may initiate attacks from greater depths to maintain concealment. In murkier coastal zones, they may approach closer before accelerating. These variations demonstrate how predators adapt their strategies to the optical properties of their habitat. For the prey species that share these waters, survival depends on recognizing patterns that hint at hidden danger. Seals sometimes travel in groups, reducing the chances that any one individual becomes isolated. They may also vary their diving behavior, altering the timing of surface appearances to avoid predictable rhythms. Even these strategies, however, offer no guarantees. The ocean remains a place where visibility does not always equal awareness. Far below the shimmering surface, another great white shark glides silently through the deep blue water, its dark back blending perfectly with the surrounding shadows. Above, the surface continues to glitter in the sunlight, reflecting a sky that reveals nothing of the movements beneath. In this vast marine landscape, the greatest threat often rises from the one direction prey cannot clearly see. On a tropical reef slope where coral towers rise from pale sand and algae-covered rocks, life unfolds at a pace that appears almost leisurely. Small fish drift between coral branches, pausing to graze on microscopic algae or snap at tiny crustaceans floating in the water column. Shrimp hover beneath ledges, cleaning parasites from the bodies of passing fish. Sea stars creep slowly across the seabed, while feather stars extend delicate arms into the current, filtering particles from the flow. To an observer watching the reef for the first time, the environment seems peaceful and richly layered with color and movement. Yet among the sponges and coral rubble sits a creature that almost no one notices. It rests on the bottom like a misshapen lump of living sponge. Its skin is covered in irregular folds and wart-like protrusions that mimic the rough textures of surrounding coral and algae. The color of its body matches the reef perfectly, sometimes orange, sometimes brown or yellow, depending on the species and the habitat in which it lives. Small bits of algae and sediment cling to its skin, further disguising the animal as part of the reef itself. This is a frogfish. Unlike the sleek hunters of the open ocean, the frogfish seems almost absurdly unsuited for predation. Its body is rounded and thick, lacking the streamlined shape that allows many fish to swim quickly through the water. Its fins resemble stubby limbs more than the elegant fins of fast-moving predators. Instead of gliding through the reef, the frogfish often walks slowly across the bottom, using its modified pectoral fins, like small legs. To the casual observer, it looks more like a piece of living coral than a fish capable of capturing prey. But the frogfish does not depend on speed through the water. It depends on something far more subtle: proximity. Camouflage defines every aspect of its existence. The frogfish's skin does not merely resemble the reef environment, it actively adapts to it. Many species can gradually change coloration over days or weeks to match the dominant shades of nearby sponges, algae, or coral. Some individuals develop skin textures that mimic specific reef organisms so precisely that even experienced divers struggle to distinguish them from their surroundings. This disguise transforms the frogfish into a predator that hunts through invisibility. Nearby, a small damselfish hovers above a cluster of sponges. Its body flashes bright blue in the sunlight as it darts back and forth through its territory. Damselfish are alert creatures, constantly scanning for predators that might approach from open water. Their survival depends on rapid escape reflexes and an ability to dart instantly into coral branches when danger appears. But the frogfish does not approach. It simply waits. The predator remains perfectly still, its body swaying slightly with the gentle surge of the current. Only its eyes move, rotating independently as they track movement around the reef. Each eye sits atop a small stalk, giving the frogfish a surprisingly wide field of vision despite its stationary lifestyle. The damselfish drifts closer to the sponge cluster. From its perspective, nothing unusual appears in the environment. The frogfish's body blends seamlessly with the surrounding sponge textures, and its lack of motion fails to trigger the fish's alarm responses. Predators that chase prey usually generate pressure waves or visible movement through the water. The frogfish creates neither. Yet the predator possesses another remarkable tool beyond camouflage. Extending from the frogfish's head is a modified dorsal spine known as an iliceum. At the tip of this structure hangs a small fleshy appendage called the esker. Together, these structures form what is essentially a fishing lure, one of the most extraordinary adaptations found among reef fishes. The frogfish begins to move the lure gently. The esker twitches back and forth with subtle, irregular motions that resemble the movements of small worms or crustaceans. The lure's appearance varies depending on the species. In some frogfish, it mimics a shrimp. In others, it resembles a tiny fish or marine worm. For nearby prey animals, the lure appears to be food. The damselfish notices the movement almost immediately. Curious and opportunistic, it edges closer to inspect the strange twitching object emerging from the sponge cluster. The fish circles slowly, maintaining a cautious distance at first while studying the motion. The frogfish does not react. Its body remains frozen in position while the lure continues its subtle dance in the water. The predator's patience reflects an evolutionary strategy that prioritizes absolute precision over constant hunting effort. Frogfish often remain in the same small territory for extended periods, relying on their camouflage and lure to attract prey rather than actively searching for it. The damselfish drifts even closer. Within only a few centimeters of the frogfish's mouth, the fish pauses briefly, examining the wriggling lure with growing interest. Its instincts weigh curiosity against caution. No obvious predator is visible. The lure continues moving like an easy meal. The distance between predator and prey shrinks to almost nothing. For the frogfish, this proximity is essential. Unlike fast swimmers that chase prey across open water, the frogfish must allow its target to approach within extremely short range. The reason lies in the nature of its attack mechanism. The frogfish does not bite prey in the traditional sense. Instead, it captures animals using one of the fastest feeding motions known in the animal kingdom. The moment the damselfish edges just slightly closer, the frogfish strikes. The attack unfolds so quickly that the movement is nearly invisible to the human eye. The frogfish opens its mouth with explosive speed, expanding its oral cavity into a sudden vacuum that sucks water inward. Along with the water comes the damselfish, pulled directly into the predator's mouth by the powerful suction. This feeding mechanism operates through a coordinated expansion of the frogfish's skull bones and throat cavity. Ligaments and muscles stretch rapidly, increasing the volume inside the mouth and creating an intense pressure drop that draws water and prey inward. The entire event occurs in only a few thousandths of a second. By the time the damselfish begins its escape reflex, the attack is already over. The frogfish closes its mouth and returns immediately to stillness. The captured fish disappears down its throat, swallowed whole as the predator resets its feeding apparatus. Around the scene, the reef continues its daily rhythm. Small fish dart through coral branches, and shrimp continue cleaning larger animals beneath ledges. To them, nothing remarkable appears to have happened. Yet within that quiet sponge cluster, one of the most specialized hunters on the reef has just completed another perfectly timed ambush. The frogfish's feeding method illustrates an extreme adaptation to life in complex reef habitats. By combining camouflage, luring behavior, and suction feeding, the predator eliminates the need for speed or pursuit. Prey animals effectively trap themselves by approaching too closely. In this strategy, distance becomes the most important variable. Predators such as sharks or barracudas dominate wide areas of water through power and acceleration. The frogfish dominates a space barely larger than its own body. Within that small territory, however, its attack speed rivals that of far larger predators. Biologists studying frogfish feeding behavior have discovered that their suction strikes rank among the fastest vertebrate feeding events ever recorded. The rapid expansion of the mouth cavity generates water flow strong enough to pull prey directly from the surrounding water, even if the fish begins to turn away at the last instant. This extraordinary mechanism explains why the frogfish must allow prey to approach so closely before striking. Suction feeding becomes most effective at very short distances where water flow can engulf the target completely. Elsewhere on the reef, other frogfish sit hidden among coral rubble, each waiting within its own carefully chosen patch of camouflage. Some resemble sponges, others algae-covered stones or soft coral branches. Their appearances vary widely, but their strategy remains identical. Stillness, patience, and a tiny distance between predator and prey where escape becomes impossible. The reef after sunset changes character completely. Colors that blazed under tropical sunlight fade into muted tones of blue and gray as the last rays disappear beyond the horizon. Water that once shimmered with activity grows quieter, though not empty. Instead, the night shift of the reef begins to emerge. Small crustaceans crawl out from beneath rocks. Brittle stars extend their arms across the sand, and tiny shrimp flicker through the water like sparks drifting in slow motion. Many daytime fish retreat into coral crevices to sleep, wedging their bodies tightly between branches where they remain protected through the darkness. Among these sleeping forms lies a creature that rarely relies on speed, strength, or brute force to hunt. Instead, it transforms the terrain itself into a cage. From beneath a coral ledge, a soft shape begins to unfold. At first, it appears like little more than a shifting shadow spreading across the rock. 8 arms glide forward along the reef surface, each one moving independently, yet coordinated with the others through an intricate nervous system, unlike anything found in most animals. This is an octopus, a hunter whose intelligence has evolved alongside a body capable of extraordinary flexibility and control. Unlike fish or sharks, whose skeletons provide rigid frameworks for swimming through open water, the octopus lacks bones entirely. Its body is built from muscle and connective tissue that can squeeze through gaps barely larger than the animal's eye. This softness allows the octopus to inhabit cracks, burrows, and coral cavities inaccessible to nearly every other predator. But the same flexibility that allows it to hide also transforms it into a master of confinement. The octopus glides across the reef floor, its arms extending outward like living ropes. Each arm contains hundreds of suckers, circular, muscular discs capable of gripping surfaces with remarkable strength. Within every sucker lie thousands of chemical receptors that function almost like miniature taste organs. When the octopus touches a surface, it does not merely feel it. It samples chemical traces left behind by other animals. In effect, the octopus can taste the reef. As the predator moves slowly across the coral rubble, its arms explore every crevice and hollow. Some arms probe into narrow cracks, while others remain spread across the surrounding rocks to maintain stability. The octopus's skin shifts color constantly, matching the mottled patterns of coral and algae. Specialized pigment cells expand and contract under neural control, allowing the animal to change appearance within fractions of a second. In the dim light of evening, the octopus becomes nearly invisible against the reef. Nearby, a small crab emerges from beneath a piece of coral rubble. The animal raises its claws cautiously as it steps across the sand, searching for food carried by the gentle current. Crabs rely heavily on armor and quick sideways movement to evade predators. Their rigid shells protect vital organs, while their ability to dart into narrow crevices often provides an effective escape route. But tonight the crab has wandered into a territory controlled by a very different kind of hunter. One of the octopus's arms brushes lightly against the sand near the crab's path. The sucker at the tip touches the substrate briefly, sampling chemical traces left behind by passing animals. Within moments, the octopus registers the faint signature of the crab's presence. The predator pauses. Unlike the sudden strikes of many marine hunters, the octopus often approaches its prey with deliberate caution. Intelligence shapes every movement. Instead of rushing forward, the octopus begins spreading its arms around the surrounding terrain. The crab continues walking, unaware that its escape routes are quietly disappearing. 2 arms slide across the sand to the left of the crab, curling gently around a coral fragment that might otherwise provide shelter. Another arm extends along the opposite side, resting lightly against the reef surface. The remaining limbs drift forward in a loose arc, forming a living barrier that surrounds the crab without making direct contact. This formation resembles a set of flexible walls. The crab senses movement and raises its claws defensively, but the octopus's camouflage conceals the true nature of the threat. The arms remain still, blending with the coral textures around them. To the crab's eyes, the environment appears unchanged. Only when the crab attempts to move forward does the trap reveal itself. One arm lifts slightly and slides across the crab's path, blocking the direction of travel. The crab reacts instantly, scuttling sideways in an attempt to escape. But another arm intercepts that movement, curling across the sand like a soft barrier. Within seconds, the crab finds itself surrounded. The octopus now advances more directly. Several arms converge toward the center of the enclosure, while others continue blocking potential exits. This strategy transforms the reef terrain into a temporary prison, where every escape route leads directly into another limb. When the crab attempts a final dash toward open sand, the octopus strikes. Two arms snap forward simultaneously, wrapping around the crab's body with startling precision. Suckers attach instantly to the shell, gripping the prey with remarkable strength. The crab thrashes violently, its claws snapping at the arms that hold it. But the octopus simply tightens its grip. More arms join the capture, wrapping around the crab in layers that resemble living ropes. The animal's flexible limbs bend and twist around the prey, securing it against the reef surface. Some arms anchor themselves to nearby rocks, preventing the crab from pulling free through sheer force. The octopus's webbing now comes into play. Between the arms stretches a thin membrane of skin that forms a kind of umbrella around the captured prey. When the octopus pulls its limbs together, this webbing creates a temporary chamber that encloses the crab completely. Inside that chamber, escape becomes impossible. The octopus brings its beak toward the crab's underside. Hidden beneath the animal's soft body lies a sharp chitinous mouthpart capable of piercing shells and injecting venom. The bite lands precisely between segments of the crab's armor, where the shell is weakest. The venom begins working almost immediately. Many octopus species possess neurotoxins that paralyze prey by interfering with nerve signals. The crab's movements slow rapidly as the toxin spreads through its body. Within moments, the thrashing stops. The octopus maintains its grip until the prey becomes completely still. Then the predator begins feeding, using its beak to break through the shell, while its arms continue holding the crab securely. Around them, the reef night continues unfolding. Small fish dart through the water above, and a shrimp creeps cautiously across the sand nearby, unaware of the drama that has just taken place. This hunting method illustrates how intelligence can replace speed in the underwater world. Unlike predators that rely on explosive attacks or powerful jaws, the octopus dominates its environment through problem-solving and precise manipulation. Each arm contains a large number of neurons, allowing it to perform complex movements independently while still coordinating with the rest of the body. In many ways, the octopus functions as a distributed brain. Each limb explores the environment, gathering information about textures, chemical traces, and potential prey. When a target is detected, the arms collaborate to form traps tailored to the specific terrain. The reef itself becomes a partner in the hunt. Rocks block escape routes, coral branches provide anchor points, and narrow crevices guide the prey toward the center of the enclosure. Instead of chasing animals across open water, the octopus transforms the environment into a flexible cage, built from both terrain and living limbs. As the octopus finishes feeding, it begins to withdraw its arms from the surrounding coral. The webbing folds back neatly against its body, and the animal glides silently across the reef floor once more. Moments later, the octopus disappears beneath a rock ledge, its skin shifting color again to match the surrounding stone. The reef seems quiet again, but the hunter remains close, ready to emerge whenever another unsuspecting animal wanders within reach of its living handcuffs. The tide begins its slow movement through a narrow tropical channel, where the open ocean presses against a coral reef that has grown for thousands of years. Water squeezes between jagged coral walls, accelerating as it flows toward the lagoon beyond. From above, the scene appears almost peaceful. Turquoise water pours through the passage like a river, swirling around scattered coral heads and patches of sand. Sunlight filters downward in wavering beams, illuminating a mosaic of reef fish, drifting plankton, and the occasional shadow of a sea turtle gliding across the bottom. To smaller animals, this channel represents a highway through the reef system, a place where currents carry food and oxygen-rich water into sheltered habitats. Yet the same geography that concentrates life also creates a predictable pattern of movement. And in the ocean, predictability often invites a different kind of visitor. Along the deeper edge of the channel, a large shape moves slowly against the current. The body is thick and powerful, its broad head cutting through the water with steady, confident motion. Dark vertical stripes run faintly along its flanks, giving the animal the name that sailors once borrowed from a terrestrial predator. This is a tiger shark, one of the most adaptable hunters in tropical seas. Unlike many predators that rely on explosive ambushes or complex coordination, the tiger shark succeeds through something deceptively simple. It places itself where prey is most likely to appear. The reef channel functions like a funnel connecting several different ecological zones. Outside the reef lies the open ocean, where currents move freely across vast distances. Inside the lagoon, the water becomes calmer and shallower, filled with coral gardens, seagrass meadows, and nurseries for countless marine species. Every tidal cycle forces animals to move between these spaces. Fish migrate in search of food, turtles swim through the passage on their way to grazing grounds, and seabirds dive repeatedly, where currents push schools of baitfish into dense clusters. The channel does not create prey, but it concentrates movement into a narrow corridor that predators can patrol with remarkable efficiency. The tiger shark glides along the outer edge of this corridor, its large tail sweeping slowly from side to side. Unlike predators that must maintain constant bursts of speed, the tiger shark's body is designed for endurance cruising. Its wide pectoral fins generate lift, allowing the animal to maintain depth with minimal effort while riding the moving current. The shark's metabolism supports long periods of steady swimming, enabling it to patrol large areas without exhausting itself. This ability turns the predator into something more than a hunter. It becomes a moving presence within the ecosystem, circulating through spaces where prey must eventually pass. Visibility in the channel is imperfect. Sand lifted from the bottom by tidal currents creates a light haze in the water, softening the outlines of objects at a distance. The reef wall blocks part of the sunlight, casting broad shadows across sections of the passage. These conditions do not favor the dramatic ambush attacks often associated with other large sharks. Instead, they favor patience. The tiger shark's sensory systems compensate for the limited visibility. Like other sharks, it possesses a lateral line that detects pressure waves traveling through the water. Every swimming fish, every struggling animal, and every sudden movement sends vibrations outward through the surrounding fluid. The shark's body acts almost like an antenna, translating these vibrations into directional information. At the same time, its electroreceptors detect faint electrical signals produced by muscle contractions in nearby animals. These signals travel surprisingly well through seawater, allowing the shark to sense prey even when it cannot see them clearly. A green sea turtle emerges from the brighter water outside the reef and begins moving toward the lagoon. Its flippers beat rhythmically as it rides the incoming tide through the channel. For the turtle, this route represents a familiar pathway between feeding grounds and resting areas. Its large shell offers protection against many predators, and its powerful swimming muscles allow it to cover long distances through coastal habitats. Yet the channel narrows the turtle's options. Coral walls rise steeply on both sides, and the strong current limits the animal's ability to maneuver quickly. The tiger shark adjusts its path slightly. The predator does not rush forward. It continues patrolling the edge of the channel, maintaining a steady pace, while the turtle moves closer along the central flow of water. This behavior reflects a key aspect of tiger shark hunting strategy. Rather than expending energy chasing prey across large areas, the shark allows the structure of the environment to deliver opportunities. As the turtle drifts nearer, small reef fish scatter ahead of its approach. Their sudden movements create ripples of disturbance through the water. The tiger shark's sensory systems register these signals instantly. The predator begins to angle gently toward the middle of the channel, not accelerating yet, but positioning itself where the current will carry the turtle directly into its path. Tiger sharks possess jaws built for versatility. Their teeth are broad and serrated, capable of slicing through tough materials such as turtle shells, stingray cartilage, and even the bones of marine mammals. This flexibility in diet allows them to exploit a wide variety of prey species. In many coastal ecosystems, they function as opportunistic regulators, feeding on whatever animals become available within their patrol routes. The turtle senses the change in the water around it. A shadow moves through the haze ahead, large enough to trigger an instinctive reaction. The turtle begins to veer toward the reef wall, attempting to use the coral structures as cover. But the narrow geometry of the channel restricts the maneuver. Coral outcrops block several possible escape directions, forcing the turtle to adjust repeatedly as it tries to navigate through the passage. The tiger shark accelerates slightly, closing the distance with smooth, controlled strokes of its tail. Unlike predators that rely on sudden bursts of speed, the shark uses a steady approach that reduces turbulence in the water. To the turtle, the predator appears almost as an inevitable presence emerging from the murky current. Above the channel, seabirds continue diving for fish trapped in the tidal flow. Their plunges create brief explosions of white foam at the surface. These disturbances send additional signals through the water column, further masking the shark's movement. The channel becomes a layered environment where multiple species interact simultaneously, each responding to the same concentration of life carried by the tide. The turtle makes one final attempt to escape by diving deeper toward the sandy bottom. In open water, such a maneuver might provide enough space to evade a pursuing predator. Here, however, the bottom slopes upward along the reef wall, leaving little room for maneuvering. The tiger shark angles downward as well, using gravity and current together to increase its closing speed. When the strike finally occurs, it appears almost restrained compared to the explosive attacks of other shark species. The tiger shark lunges forward, jaws opening wide as it intercepts the turtle's path. The powerful bite lands along the edge of the shell, where bone and cartilage meet. Within seconds, the predator rolls slightly, using the strength of its body to tear free a section of flesh. The current continues flowing through the channel as the encounter unfolds. Fish dart nervously among the coral branches, and the seabirds above circle lower over the water. The tiger shark releases its grip briefly before returning to claim the remaining prey. For the predator, the event represents the successful outcome of a patrol that may have lasted many hours. Elsewhere along the reef edge, similar patrol routes unfold continuously. Tiger sharks move between channels, reef slopes, and areas of murky coastal water where prey movements tend to converge. Some individuals travel astonishing distances, following seasonal patterns of temperature and prey abundance across entire ocean basins. These migrations reveal how the species integrates local patrol strategies with broader ecological movements. The effectiveness of this approach lies in its simplicity. Many marine predators depend on stealth or speed to capture prey. The tiger shark depends on inevitability. By positioning itself where animals must travel, the predator transforms the geography of the reef into a hunting tool. As the tide begins to slow, the flow of water through the channel weakens. Smaller fish disperse across the reef flats, and the seabirds gradually drift away from the area. The tiger shark turns toward the outer reef slope and resumes its steady patrol along the edge where open ocean meets coral. The environment appears calm once more, yet the narrow passage continues to function as a funnel for life moving between habitats. In tropical seas where currents shape the movement of countless animals, the patrol of a tiger shark becomes part of the reef's invisible architecture. Eventually, something else will enter the channel. On a shallow tropical reef where coral rubble forms a maze of small cavities and sand pockets, the afternoon tide pushes warm water gently across the seabed. Sunlight streams through the surface above, scattering across the bottom in wavering bands that shimmer across broken coral fragments and patches of algae. To most of the animals living here, the reef floor represents a complicated terrain filled with hiding places, narrow passageways, and small territories fiercely defended by creatures that rarely grow larger than a human hand. Among these scattered coral stones sits an opening barely wider than a thumb. Inside that hole lives a predator capable of delivering one of the most violent impacts found anywhere in the natural world. At first, nothing appears unusual. A small goby fish hovers near the entrance, darting in and out as it picks at drifting plankton. A hermit crab wanders slowly across the sand, dragging its borrowed shell behind it. The reef seems calm, animated only by tiny bursts of activity from animals going about their daily routines. Then two slender, stalked eyes emerge from the burrow. The eyes swivel independently, scanning the surrounding environment with almost mechanical precision. Each eye is mounted on a flexible stalk, allowing the creature to observe nearly the entire scene around it without moving its body. Beneath those eyes, hidden within the darkness of the burrow, lies a compact muscular animal armored with plates of brightly colored exoskeleton. This is a mantis shrimp. Despite its name, the mantis shrimp is neither a true shrimp nor a mantis. It belongs to a group of crustaceans known as stomatopods, ancient predators whose evolutionary history stretches back hundreds of millions of years. While many reef animals rely on camouflage, speed, or venom to capture prey, the mantis shrimp relies on something far more direct. It hits. The animal waits quietly at the mouth of its burrow, its body pressed against the walls of the cavity while only the eyes and antennae protrude outward. This burrow is not simply a shelter, but a carefully maintained hunting station. Mantis shrimp spend considerable effort excavating and maintaining these tunnels within coral rubble or sand. The narrow opening allows them to monitor the surrounding area while remaining almost completely hidden from passing animals. The goby fish drifts closer to the burrow entrance. The mantis shrimp does not react immediately. Its eyes track the fish carefully, adjusting their angles to maintain focus. Mantis shrimp possess some of the most complex visual systems known among animals. Each eye contains multiple types of photoreceptors capable of detecting different wavelengths of light, including ultraviolet. This ability allows the mantis shrimp to perceive subtle color differences and polarization patterns invisible to most other creatures. But vision is only part of the predator's toolkit. Inside the burrow, the mantis shrimp shifts its weight slightly as powerful muscles coil within its raptorial appendages. These specialized limbs resemble folded clubs tucked tightly beneath the body. In species known as smashers, the appendages end in thick calcified structures designed specifically for delivering high-speed impacts. The goby pauses near the burrow entrance, hovering briefly while examining the algae-covered stones nearby. The mantis shrimp remains still. Patience forms a crucial part of its strategy. The predator cannot chase prey across open water, nor can it travel long distances from the safety of its burrow without risking exposure to larger hunters. Instead, it waits for animals to wander close enough that the distance between predator and prey becomes almost negligible. The goby inches closer. Within the burrow, the mantis shrimp's striking appendages begin to load with elastic energy. The structure of these limbs includes a specialized latch mechanism that allows the muscles to contract slowly while storing energy within elastic regions of the exoskeleton. When the latch releases, the stored energy unleashes in a sudden burst of acceleration. The system functions almost like a biological crossbow. The goby moves just slightly too close. The strike happens so quickly that even high-speed cameras struggle to capture the full motion clearly. The mantis shrimp's club launches forward with extraordinary velocity, slamming into the goby with an impact that occurs in less than 1/1000th of a second. The fish does not have time to begin its escape response. Its nervous system registers the movement only after the strike has already landed. The force of the blow sends the goby tumbling across the sand in a small cloud of sediment. But the violence of the mantis shrimp's attack does not end with the physical impact of the club. As the appendage moves through the water at extreme speed, it creates a region of low pressure behind the striking surface. This sudden pressure drop causes the water itself to vaporize momentarily, forming a tiny bubble known as a cavitation bubble. The bubble collapses almost immediately. When it implodes, it produces a second shockwave that strikes the prey just fractions of a moment after the initial blow. This cavitation effect generates temperatures and pressures high enough to emit a brief flash of light underwater, a phenomenon sometimes compared to a microscopic lightning strike. For the goby, the result is devastating. Even if the initial strike does not kill the prey instantly, the combined force of the mechanical impact and the cavitation shock often leaves the victim stunned or immobilized. The mantis shrimp emerges from the burrow with sudden confidence. Its small, armored body moves across the sand as the raptorial appendages unfold once more. The predator seizes the stunned goby with smaller feeding limbs and drags it quickly back toward the safety of the burrow. Inside the tunnel, the mantis shrimp begins feeding. Around the reef, The water soon clears again, as drifting sediment settles back onto the sand. The hermit crab continues its slow journey across the seabed, seemingly unaware of the violent event that has just occurred nearby. But the burrow remains occupied by a creature capable of repeating the same attack countless times. The power behind the mantis shrimp's strike has fascinated scientists for decades. Measurements of these impacts reveal accelerations among the highest recorded in the animal kingdom. The appendages move so rapidly that they rival the velocity of small-caliber projectiles, generating forces capable of cracking snail shells and even shattering thin aquarium glass. Yet the mantis shrimp's weapon is not simply about brute strength. The predator's entire hunting strategy depends on the idea of immediate incapacitation. Unlike predators that chase prey through extended struggles, the mantis shrimp ends the contest before the prey's escape reflex even begins. The first strike disables the target, removing the possibility of resistance or flight. This concept of stun locking defines the animal's success as a hunter. Nearby, another small crustacean wanders close to the burrow entrance, investigating a patch of algae on the coral rubble. The mantis shrimp's eyes pivot instantly toward the movement. Once again, the raptorial appendages fold beneath the body. Elastic energy begins to build quietly within the predator's limbs as the latch mechanism locks into place. Outside the burrow, the reef appears calm and unremarkable. But inside that narrow tunnel waits one of the fastest striking mechanisms evolution has ever produced, ready to deliver a blow so powerful that even the water itself joins the attack. Where the river meets the sea, the water rarely looks inviting. The surface is brown and restless, its color shaped by sediment carried down from distant forests, farms, and floodplains far inland. The tide pushes against the river's flow, forcing saltwater and freshwater to twist together in complicated currents that churn the bottom into clouds of drifting particles. Visibility here collapses into only a few body lengths. Shapes dissolve quickly into shadow. Light fades into a dull green haze long before the bottom becomes visible. Yet this unstable border between land and ocean pulses with life. The estuary acts as a gateway connecting two enormous ecosystems. Nutrients washed from the land feed plankton blooms that support dense populations of small fish and crustaceans. Juvenile animals use the tangled mangrove roots along the riverbanks as shelter from larger predators. Tides carry shrimp, mullet, catfish, and countless other species in and out of the estuary every day. The result is a moving corridor of biological traffic where animals travel constantly between the open sea and the sheltered waters upstream. In clear tropical lagoons, predators rely heavily on sight. Here, sight becomes unreliable almost immediately. This is the domain of the bull shark. A broad shape moves slowly through the turbid water, its body thick and muscular, built more like a battering ram than a streamlined torpedo. The bull shark's head is blunt and powerful, with small eyes positioned above a mouth filled with triangular cutting teeth. Unlike many sharks that specialize in particular habitats, this species thrives in the constantly shifting conditions of estuaries and river mouths. Its physiology allows it to tolerate dramatic changes in salinity, enabling it to move freely between marine and freshwater environments. Few large marine predators possess this ability. Most sharks depend on stable ocean salinity to maintain internal chemical balance. Bull sharks solve this challenge through remarkable osmoregulatory control. Their kidneys and specialized glands adjust the concentration of salts and urea within their blood, allowing them to maintain equilibrium even as surrounding water shifts from ocean brine to nearly fresh river flow. This physiological flexibility transforms the shark into a roaming predator capable of penetrating far upstream, sometimes traveling hundreds of kilometers inland along large river systems. For prey animals entering the estuary, this means danger may appear in places where typical marine predators cannot reach. The bull shark glides through the murky water with steady confidence. In these conditions, stealth does not rely on camouflage or stillness. The water itself provides concealment. Suspended sediment and organic debris scatter incoming light, turning the entire environment into a living curtain that hides approaching shapes. For animals attempting to escape, the world shrinks dramatically. Instead of open ocean where threats might be spotted from a distance, the murk corridor reduces visibility to almost nothing. The shark's senses compensate for this blindness. Along the sides of its body runs the lateral line system, a network of sensory cells capable of detecting pressure waves traveling through water. Every flick of a fishtail, every sudden splash near the surface, sends vibrations through the surrounding fluid. The shark interprets these signals as a kind of spatial map, revealing the direction and intensity of movement nearby. Even more precise is the shark's electroreception. Clusters of specialized organs known as ampullae of Lorenzini cover the bull shark's snout. These tiny gel-filled pores detect faint electrical fields generated by muscle contractions in living animals. Every swimming fish produces such signals. In clear water, vision might guide the predator toward prey. In muddy estuaries, electricity becomes the beacon. Ahead in the river channel, a school of mullet drifts along the current. The fish swim close to the surface, their bodies flashing occasionally through thin shafts of filtered sunlight. Mullet often travel in loose groups through estuaries, feeding on algae and detritus stirred from the bottom by tidal currents. Their behavior relies heavily on group awareness. Individuals watch the movements of nearby fish, responding collectively to sudden changes in direction or speed. But in murky water, the ability to see one another weakens. The school begins to fragment slightly as individuals drift apart in the hazy environment. Each fish still responds to vibrations and water pressure changes, but the tight visual coordination typical of clear water schooling begins to degrade. The result is a looser formation where small gaps open between individuals. The bull shark senses those gaps immediately. It adjusts its trajectory, moving quietly through the lower layer of the water column where sediment concentration becomes thickest. From above, the predator is almost impossible to detect. Even if a fish were to look downward, the murky water would conceal anything more than a vague shadow. The estuary itself becomes part of the hunting mechanism. Unlike predators that must isolate prey through speed or coordinated attacks, the bull shark benefits from geography that already restricts escape routes. The riverbanks narrow the available space for movement. Mangrove roots form tangled barriers along the shoreline. Sandbars and submerged debris alter the current into unpredictable eddies that push fish into tight corridors of water. Animals entering the estuary often have limited directional options. The mullet school drifts closer to a bend in the river where tidal flow accelerates slightly between two shallow banks. Small shrimp leap from the water's surface as they flee unseen predators below. Above the channel, a heron stands motionless on a mangrove branch, waiting patiently for fish to wander into striking range. Life converges in these narrow places. The bull shark increases its speed slightly, its tail sweeping with greater force as it closes the distance. The movement remains controlled and efficient. Unlike the explosive ambushes of some sharks, the bull shark's approach resembles a steady surge through the water, relying on proximity and surprise created by low visibility. One mullet senses the disturbance too late. The fish attempts to veer away, its body twisting sharply as it accelerates toward deeper water. But the murk conceals the predator's true location. Instead of escaping, the mullet swims directly toward the approaching shark. The attack unfolds in a violent burst. The bull shark lunges forward, jaws snapping shut around the fish with a quick sideways shake of its head. The motion tears through the prey almost instantly. In the cloudy water, the event appears only as a sudden explosion of motion, followed by drifting fragments carried away by the current. Nearby mullets scatter in all directions, yet their escape remains constrained by the geography of the river channel. Mangrove roots block movement toward the banks, while shallow sandbars restrict deeper dives. Within seconds, the school regroups farther upstream, swimming rapidly against the current in an attempt to leave the dangerous corridor. The shark does not pursue immediately. Instead, it slows once more, returning to a steady patrol through the turbid water. The estuary will deliver new opportunities soon enough. Tides continue to pull animals in and out of the river mouth, and countless fish move along the same routes every day. Elsewhere in the world, bull sharks follow similar corridors deep into freshwater systems. In large tropical rivers, they patrol channels where migrating fish gather during seasonal floods. In some regions, they share waterways with entirely freshwater predators, such as crocodiles, creating unusual ecological overlaps rarely seen elsewhere. The ability to exploit these habitats gives the bull shark access to prey unavailable to most ocean predators. Juvenile sharks often grow up within these estuaries, using the murky water as a form of protection against larger marine predators that prefer clearer coastal zones. In this sense, the Murk Corridor serves a dual purpose. It provides both a hunting ground for adults and a nursery environment for young sharks still developing the strength needed to venture into open seas. As evening approaches, the river mouth darkens further. Shadows stretch across the water as the sun sinks toward the horizon. The incoming tide strengthens again, carrying fresh pulses of salt water into the estuary and stirring the sediment into thicker clouds. The bull shark turns slowly within the current and resumes its patrol along the river bend. In this world of shifting water and limited sight, escape depends not only on speed, but on awareness of surroundings that remain almost impossible to see. For animals traveling through the Murk Corridor, danger does not always appear as a visible shape. Sometimes it is simply the presence of something large moving silently within the brown water, waiting where the river narrows and the path forward offers very few choices. Along the face of a coral reef, where the slope drops gradually toward deeper water, the reef structure begins to change character. The bright coral gardens of the shallows give way to a rugged landscape of ledges, crevices, and broken rock formations stacked over centuries of storm damage and coral growth. Narrow caves twist through the reef wall like passages in a submerged labyrinth, each opening leading into shadowed chambers where the sunlight rarely reaches. In these dark pockets, life waits quietly. A school of reef fish moves cautiously along the edge of the slope, their bodies reflecting flashes of silver and yellow as they feed among the coral outcrops. Small wrasses weave between rocks, searching for parasites, while a squirrelfish hovers beneath a ledge, its large eyes adapted to the dim light beneath the reef overhangs. Crabs patrol the sand pockets near the base of the reef, and a pair of cleaner shrimp wave their antennae from inside a narrow crack, advertising their services to passing fish. The reef seems peaceful, but the openings scattered across its surface are not empty. Inside one of those narrow cavities, something shifts. At first, it appears to be nothing more than a dark ribbon pressed against the interior wall of the tunnel. But slowly a head emerges into the light. The creature's skin glows with mottled patterns of brown and green that match the surrounding coral rubble almost perfectly. Its mouth opens and closes rhythmically, revealing rows of sharp needle-like teeth. This is a moray eel. To the casual observer, the eel's constant mouth opening might appear threatening, but the movement serves a simpler purpose. Unlike many fish, morays lack the pumping gill covers that help circulate water across the gills. Instead, they must continually open and close their mouths to push oxygen-rich water through their respiratory system. Yet that same motion reveals a predator perfectly adapted to hunting within the reef's most confined spaces. The moray eel's body resembles a living rope of muscle. Long and flexible, it can weave through crevices far too narrow for most predators to enter. The eel's lack of pectoral fins allows its body to slide smoothly through tight tunnels where rigid fins might become trapped. Inside the reef, mobility matters more than speed. The eel extends its head slightly farther from the opening, its nostrils testing the water for chemical signals drifting through the reef. Moray eels possess an extremely sensitive sense of smell, capable of detecting faint traces of injured fish or crustaceans carried by the current. In the reef's maze of passages, scent often travels farther than sight. A small parrotfish grazes nearby, scraping algae from the coral surface with its strong beak-like jaws. Parrotfish spend much of their time feeding along reef slopes like this one, grinding algae from the coral and ingesting bits of calcium carbonate along with it. Their feeding activity plays an important role in reef ecology, producing fine sand that eventually settles across tropical beaches. But for now, the parrotfish's attention remains focused entirely on food. The moray eel continues watching. Unlike predators that chase prey through open water, morays rely on the geography of the reef itself to shape the outcome of a hunt. Their strategy depends on a simple principle. Once prey enters the reach of the eel's jaws, escape becomes almost impossible. The eel glides forward another few centimeters, its body still hidden within the narrow tunnel behind it. Only the head and a short section of neck remain visible. The parrotfish drifts slightly closer to the reef wall as it continues feeding. At this distance, the fish finally notices the eel's presence. It pauses briefly, turning its body sideways to inspect the dark opening in the coral. Reef fish often recognize the shapes of predators that occupy familiar crevices, and many will keep a cautious distance from these hiding places. But the parrotfish has already drifted just slightly too close. The eel lunges. Its jaws snap shut around the parrotfish's body in a sudden burst of motion. The attack happens with startling speed, but unlike many predators, the moray does not attempt to swallow the prey immediately. Instead, the eel reverses. With powerful contractions of its body, the moray begins pulling backward into the narrow tunnel from which it emerged. The parrotfish thrashes violently, its fins beating against the surrounding water as it attempts to break free. But the reef structure now becomes the predator's greatest advantage. The tunnel behind the eel is barely wide enough for the eel's body to pass through. Once inside, the parrotfish finds itself wedged against the rough coral walls, unable to turn or generate the space needed to escape. The eel continues retreating deeper into the passage, dragging its prey into a chamber where maneuvering becomes impossible. Inside the tunnel, the eel begins a second phase of the capture. Moray eels possess one of the most unusual feeding adaptations among vertebrates. Hidden within the throat lies a second set of jaws known as pharyngeal jaws. These jaws can extend forward from the throat into the mouth, grasping prey and pulling it deeper into the digestive tract. This mechanism solves a fundamental challenge faced by animals with long, narrow bodies. Most fish rely on suction to draw prey into their mouths, but the elongated shape of the eel limits its ability to generate powerful suction. The pharyngeal jaws act like an internal gripping tool, allowing the eel to secure prey and move it backward through the throat. Within the tight chamber of the reef tunnel, the moray activates this remarkable system. The secondary jaws extend forward, clamping onto the struggling parrotfish and dragging it deeper into the eel's mouth. The fish's movements slow rapidly as the predator's teeth maintain their grip. Outside the tunnel, the reef appears unchanged. Other fish continue feeding along the coral slope, occasionally glancing toward the crevice where the eel disappeared moments earlier. But the entrance now shows no sign of the struggle unfolding inside. Eventually, the eel's head emerges again at the opening. Its body remains hidden within the reef, but its jaws open and close slowly as the predator finishes swallowing its meal. Small particles of sand drift from the crevice, settling gently across the coral rubble below. This hunting strategy illustrates how the moray eel transforms the reef itself into a trap. In open water, prey animals often rely on speed and maneuverability to escape predators. But inside the reef's narrow tunnels, those advantages disappear. Once dragged into the confined space of the eel's burrow, the prey loses the ability to turn or swim freely. The hole becomes the prison. Moray eels occupy these crevices throughout coral reef ecosystems around the world. Some species remain hidden almost entirely during the day, emerging at night to hunt along the reef surface. Others maintain more visible positions, watching the surrounding environment from the entrances of their tunnels. In both cases, the reef's architecture shapes the hunt. The eel's body, flexible and muscular, moves through these tunnels with ease, while prey animals entering the same spaces quickly discover that the environment no longer favors escape. Nearby, a cleaner shrimp approaches cautiously, waving its antennae in the water as it signals its presence to the eel. In a curious ecological relationship, many moray eels tolerate these shrimp, allowing them to remove parasites and debris from their skin and mouths. For a moment, predator and cleaner share the same narrow entrance. Then the shrimp retreats once more into the reef's maze, leaving the eel alone with its crevice. The moray settles deeper into the tunnel again, its patterned skin blending into the shadows. Only the eyes remain visible as they scan the reef outside. Somewhere nearby, another fish will eventually drift too close to the opening. Morning light drifts across a shallow coastal flat where the ocean floor stretches outward in pale ripples of sand. The water here is clear but restless, constantly stirred by tidal flow that pushes warm tropical currents across the seabed. From the surface, the environment appears open and calm, a quiet expanse of turquoise water broken only by the darker outlines of scattered coral heads and patches of seagrass. Rays glide silently across the bottom, their wide bodies lifting clouds of fine sediment as they move. Small fish flicker in the sunlit water above, while crabs scuttle along the sand, pausing occasionally to bury themselves in loose grains when shadows pass overhead. For many animals, the sandy flats represent a place of refuge. Unlike coral reefs where predators lurk within countless crevices, the open sand offers space and visibility. Creatures that live here often rely on camouflage rather than speed. Stingrays, skates, and flatfish possess bodies perfectly adapted to disappear against the seabed. Their skin patterns mimic the speckled texture of sand, and their flattened shapes allow them to settle flush with the bottom. With a few subtle movements, they can bury themselves almost completely, leaving only their eyes exposed above the surface. This strategy has worked effectively for millions of years. Predators searching these flats must rely heavily on sight, scanning the bottom for unusual shapes or slight disturbances in the sand. If a ray remains motionless and concealed, the hunter often swims past without noticing. In this environment, invisibility becomes the ultimate defense. Yet one predator has evolved a way to see through the sand itself. A dark shape approaches slowly across the shallow water, its long dorsal fin cutting a narrow silhouette beneath the surface. The body moves with controlled precision, sweeping gracefully from side to side as it follows the contours of the seabed. What distinguishes this shark from others becomes obvious, even from a distance. Its head stretches outward in a broad horizontal blade, forming a structure unlike that of any other fish in the ocean. This is a hammerhead shark. The strange shape of the hammerhead's skull has fascinated biologists for generations. At first glance, the structure appears almost exaggerated, as though evolution experimented with an unusual design simply for dramatic effect. Yet every detail of the hammerhead's head reflects a highly specialized adaptation for hunting animals that hide beneath the sand. The flattened extension of the skull, known as the cephalofoil, dramatically widens the spacing between the shark's sensory organs. Its eyes sit near the far edges of the head, giving the shark a broad field of vision that allows it to scan both the seabed and the surrounding water simultaneously. But the real advantage lies in the distribution of electroreceptors embedded across the underside of the cephalofoil. These tiny sensory organs detect weak electrical fields produced by living animals. Every muscle contraction within a fish, every heartbeat within a buried ray, generates faint electrical signals that spread through seawater. Most sharks possess electroreceptors clustered near their snouts, allowing them to detect prey hidden in crevices or sand. Hammerheads take this ability to an entirely different level. By spreading thousands of these sensors across the wide surface of the cephalofoil, the shark effectively transforms its head into a sweeping detection array capable of scanning large sections of the seabed at once. As the hammerhead glides over the sand, it moves its head slowly from side to side. This motion resembles the deliberate sweep of a metal detector across a beach. The shark is not searching visually for prey. Instead, it is reading the electrical landscape of the seabed, mapping invisible signals that reveal life hidden beneath the sand. Ahead on the ocean floor, a southern stingray lies buried beneath a thin layer of sediment. Only its spiracles and eyes remain exposed, small openings through which water flows into the ray's gills. The rest of the body is concealed almost perfectly within the sand. Its mottled skin blends seamlessly with the surrounding seabed, and its flattened shape prevents any obvious shadow from forming. To most predators, the ray is invisible. But the hammerhead detects something entirely different. As the shark passes over the buried ray, faint electrical pulses ripple through the water. The ray's heart beats steadily, circulating oxygen through its body while it waits motionless beneath the sand. Each contraction produces a tiny electrical signal that travels outward through the surrounding sediment. The hammerhead senses it instantly. The shark slows slightly and circles back across the same patch of sand. Again, it sweeps its head side to side, narrowing the location of the signal. From above, nothing appears unusual. The seabed remains a smooth stretch of pale ripples. Then the hammerhead dives. With sudden precision, the shark angles downward and presses the wide underside of its head directly against the sand. The cephalofoil functions not only as a sensory platform, but also as a physical tool. By pinning its head against the seabed, the hammerhead traps the hidden ray beneath the weight of its skull. The stingray reacts instantly. Sand explodes outward as the ray attempts to launch itself from the seabed. Its powerful wings beat rapidly, trying to lift the body into open water where it can escape. But the hammerhead's head acts like a clamp, holding the ray firmly against the bottom. The shark's body twists slightly as it adjusts its position, maintaining pressure while the ray struggles beneath it. This pinning behavior represents one of the most remarkable hunting techniques in the shark world. Rather than attempting to seize the ray immediately with its jaws, the hammerhead first immobilizes its prey. The wide cephalofoil distributes force across the ray's body, preventing it from swimming upward. Meanwhile, the shark maneuvers its mouth toward the ray's wings, targeting areas where cartilage and muscle meet. The stingray's final defense lies in the venomous barb attached to its tail. Many rays rely on this sharp spine to deter predators, delivering painful stings capable of injuring even large animals. Yet the hammerhead's strategy neutralizes this weapon. By pinning the ray's body against the sand, the shark restricts the tail's ability to swing freely. The hammerhead bites down along the edge of the ray's wing, tearing away a portion of flesh before repositioning for another strike. The ray thrashes violently, sending clouds of sediment swirling into the water. But the shark maintains its hold, adjusting the angle of its head to keep the prey firmly trapped. The struggle lasts only moments. Eventually, the ray's movements weaken, and the hammerhead releases its grip briefly before returning to feed. The once invisible prey now lies exposed on the sand, its camouflage rendered useless by a predator that hunts through electricity rather than sight. Around the scene, other creatures observe from a cautious distance. Small fish dart closer to investigate drifting fragments of food, while crabs emerge from their burrows to scavenge scraps left behind. The sandy flat, which only minutes earlier appeared quiet and empty, becomes a temporary feeding ground for opportunistic animals drawn to the aftermath of the hunt. The hammerhead continues patrolling the seabed. Its sweeping movements resume as though the encounter had been only a brief interruption in a longer search pattern. The shark's head moves methodically across the sand, scanning for the next electrical signature hidden beneath the surface. This behavior illustrates the evolutionary partnership between sensory adaptation and physical design. The cephalofoil does not merely detect prey. It also enables the mechanical action required to capture animals that might otherwise escape. Few predators possess such a direct combination of detection and restraint. Across tropical coastlines around the world, hammerhead sharks repeat this process countless times. Sandy flats, seagrass meadows, and shallow lagoons provide ideal environments for rays seeking camouflage and protection. Yet these same habitats create the perfect hunting grounds for a predator equipped to reveal what lies hidden beneath the sand. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the shallow water warms and currents begin shifting once again across the seabed. New animals drift into the flat, following subtle changes in temperature and food availability. Some will attempt to bury themselves in the sand, trusting in the ancient defense of camouflage. And somewhere above them, a hammerhead will sweep silently across the bottom, reading the invisible signals that betray their presence. The coral reef at the edge of a tropical drop-off is never truly still. Even when the water appears calm from above, a slow pulse moves constantly through the reef structure as tides carry nutrients, plankton, and drifting larvae across the coral formations. The architecture of the reef creates a maze of corridors and pockets where currents accelerate briefly before spilling into quieter zones. Narrow passages between coral heads function like underwater doorways, guiding small fish through predictable routes as they move between feeding grounds and shelter. From a distance, the reef wall looks like a chaotic arrangement of coral towers and rocky ledges, but for the animals that live here, the geography forms an intricate system of pathways. Schools of chromis hover above branching corals, darting upward to feed on plankton before retreating back toward cover. A wrasse moves methodically across the reef face, inspecting crevices for parasites and small crustaceans. Near the base of the slope, a small group of goatfish fans the sand with rhythmic movements of their fins, stirring up hidden invertebrates that they quickly swallow. Life moves constantly through these narrow corridors. But one of the most powerful hunters on the reef rarely travels far from a single doorway. Inside the shadowed mouth of a coral overhang, a broad shape rests motionless against the rock. Its body is thick and muscular, its skin patterned with mottled browns and pale spots that mimic the textures of surrounding coral rubble. Large eyes face outward from a massive head, watching the movements of fish drifting across the reef entrance. This is a grouper. Groupers belong to a family of reef predators that rely less on speed and more on overwhelming force delivered in a single decisive moment. Their bodies are built like compact engines of muscle, capable of producing explosive bursts of power over very short distances. Yet the grouper's most remarkable weapon lies inside its mouth. The fish opens and closes its jaws slowly, allowing water to flow across its gills while it waits. To nearby fish, the grouper appears almost like another piece of reef structure. Its camouflage blends seamlessly with the coral behind it, and its stillness prevents the kind of movement that typically triggers alarm responses in prey species. A small damselfish swims past the entrance of the overhang. The damselfish pauses briefly to inspect a patch of algae growing along the rock surface. Like many reef fish, it relies on constant vigilance to survive in a landscape filled with predators. Its eyes scan the surrounding water, its body ready to dart into coral branches at the first sign of danger. Yet the damselfish does not recognize the shape hidden in the shadows. The grouper remains perfectly still. This position inside the reef's architecture gives the predator an advantage that extends beyond camouflage. The narrow entrance of the overhang acts like a natural funnel. Any fish that passes through the opening must swim within a confined corridor where maneuvering space becomes limited. The reef itself shapes the geometry of the encounter. The damselfish drifts slightly closer to the entrance, moving into the zone where the corridor narrows between coral walls. The fish tilts its body sideways to nibble at a patch of algae growing along the rock. Inside the shadow, the grouper's muscles tense. Unlike predators that chase prey across open water, the grouper prepares to capture its target using a sudden and powerful feeding mechanism known as suction feeding. This process involves rapid expansion of the mouth cavity combined with coordinated movements of the skull and gill covers. The result is a sudden vacuum effect capable of drawing water and prey directly into the predator's mouth. The damselfish moves forward another few centimeters. The strike happens in a single explosive motion. The grouper lunges forward from the shadowed doorway, its jaws opening to their full width as the mouth cavity expands dramatically. The gill covers flare outward, creating a sudden drop in pressure inside the mouth. Water rushes inward. The damselfish does not have time to swim away. Instead, it is pulled directly toward the predator by the force of the water itself. The suction effect carries the fish into the grouper's mouth before the prey's escape reflex can fully activate. The entire event takes place in less than a second. The grouper closes its jaws and retreats slightly back into the overhang, swallowing its prey while the surrounding water settles once more into gentle motion. Nearby fish scatter briefly before resuming their activities along the reef slope. For them, the encounter appears as little more than a sudden disturbance at the edge of the coral wall. But for the grouper, the hunt demonstrates a finely tuned interaction between anatomy and environment. The coral architecture serves as an extension of the predator's feeding strategy. By positioning itself at the mouth of narrow passages, the grouper forces prey into confined spaces where escape routes become limited. When the suction strike occurs, the surrounding coral walls prevent the prey from darting sideways or upward. Instead, the fish is pulled directly into the predator's expanding mouth cavity. This technique transforms the reef's natural structure into a functional part of the hunting mechanism. Groupers possess several anatomical adaptations that make this strategy particularly effective. Their skull bones are loosely connected by flexible ligaments, allowing the mouth to expand dramatically during feeding. When the predator strikes, the jaws extend forward slightly while the throat cavity enlarges, increasing the volume of water drawn into the mouth. The sudden influx of water creates a powerful suction force that overwhelms the swimming ability of most small fish. Inside the mouth, rows of sharp teeth angle backward to prevent captured prey from escaping. Unlike slicing predators such as sharks, groupers typically swallow their prey whole. The combination of suction and confinement ensures that once a fish enters the mouth, escape becomes extremely unlikely. Outside the overhang, the reef continues its complex rhythm of movement. A school of anthias sweeps past the coral slope in a shimmering cloud of orange and purple. These small fish feed continuously on plankton drifting through the water column, their constant motion forming a bright living curtain across the reef face. The grouper watches. Large predators like this one often remain within a relatively small territory for extended periods, relying on familiarity with the reef's architecture to maximize hunting success. By learning which passages carry the most traffic, the predator positions itself at strategic points where prey naturally funnels through the environment. Over time, these positions become predictable ambush sites. Other reef animals seem to recognize these locations as well. Some fish approach cautiously, maintaining a wider distance from the openings where large predators often hide. But the constant movement of the reef ecosystem eventually brings new individuals into range. And when the moment arrives, the grouper's feeding mechanism operates with relentless efficiency. A small squirrelfish drifts too close to the overhang entrance. The grouper's eyes lock onto the target as the fish moves into the narrow corridor formed by the coral walls. For a brief instant, the predator remains motionless, allowing the prey to enter fully into the funnel-shaped opening. Then the mouth expands once more. Water surges inward, and the squirrelfish disappears into the predator's jaws before the surrounding fish even realize the attack has begun. Within seconds, the grouper retreats again into the shadowed doorway, the reef returning to its quiet appearance as if nothing unusual had occurred. But the coral architecture still stands there, shaping currents and guiding fish through the same narrow corridors. And inside that doorway waits a predator capable of turning the reef itself into a vacuum cannon. Night spreads slowly across the open ocean, and with the fading light, the upper layers of water begin to change. During daylight hours, the pelagic world often appears empty to the human eye, a vast blue space where animals move in scattered groups far from any visible shelter. But when darkness arrives, the ocean's vertical dimension awakens. Countless creatures that spent the day hidden in deeper water begin migrating upward toward the surface. Small fish, gelatinous plankton, crustaceans, and drifting larvae rise through the water column in one of the largest daily movements of biomass on the planet. This phenomenon, known as the Deal vertical migration, transforms the night ocean into a shifting forest of life suspended in mid-water. Thousands of small lanternfish ascend from depths where sunlight rarely penetrates. Their bodies glow faintly with rows of bioluminescent organs, subtle lights used to communicate with others of their species, and perhaps to confuse predators approaching from below. Shrimp drift upward as well, their translucent bodies almost invisible in the dim water. Even delicate jellyfish pulse gently through the current, trailing tentacles that catch drifting plankton. To the creatures rising toward the surface, the darkness offers protection. In daylight, the clear ocean exposes them to predators that hunt by sight. At night, shadows and faint glimmers of bioluminescence replace the harsh illumination of the sun. Visibility shrinks, and with it the ability of many predators to track individual prey. But not all hunters depend on daylight. In the deepening twilight, a shape emerges from the darker water below. It moves with a smooth jet-propelled motion, expelling water through a muscular funnel beneath its body. Its form appears almost alien compared with the fish around it. A torpedo-shaped mantle houses powerful muscles that drive its propulsion, while large eyes dominate the front of the body, scanning the surrounding water with remarkable sensitivity. Trailing behind the mantle are 8 flexible arms and 2 longer appendages folded neatly against the body. This is a squid. The open ocean offers little structure for predators to hide behind. Unlike reef hunters that rely on rocks and coral for ambush, midwater predators must adapt to an environment defined by distance and transparency. Squid have solved this problem by extending the reach of their attack beyond what most prey expect. Their secret lies in the tentacles. While the 8 shorter arms surrounding the squid's mouth assist in holding and manipulating prey, the 2 longer tentacles function as specialized capture lines capable of extraordinary extension. These tentacles remain coiled close to the body during normal swimming, their elastic muscles folded into compact bundles. But when triggered, they can shoot outward with astonishing speed. The squid glides through the dim water as lanternfish drift nearby. Each lanternfish moves with gentle tail strokes, its bioluminescent organs flickering faintly along its sides. The fish maintain loose spacing within the migrating group, relying on darkness and mobility rather than tight schooling for protection. Their attention focuses primarily on predators approaching from close range. The squid's enormous eyes gather the faintest traces of light. Among cephalopods, squid possess some of the most sophisticated visual systems in the ocean. Their eyes are capable of detecting extremely subtle contrasts in low-light conditions, allowing them to track movement even in the dim glow of deep water. These large eyes function much like sensitive cameras, collecting available photons from the environment and converting them into detailed images of nearby animals. Ahead, one lanternfish drifts slightly apart from the others. The squid slows its movement, adjusting its position with careful pulses from its funnel. Unlike many fish that swim continuously, squid often pause between bursts of motion, hovering briefly while they evaluate the surrounding environment. This intermittent propulsion conserves energy while maintaining control over their position in the water column. The squid approaches within several body lengths of the lanternfish. From the fish's perspective, the predator remains just outside the immediate danger zone. Many prey species respond only when predators enter a certain distance threshold where escape maneuvers become necessary. In open water, this threshold typically corresponds to the range at which a predator can lunge forward and capture prey before the target completes its first evasive movement. But the squid's strike operates on a completely different scale. Its tentacles extend far beyond the reach of its body. The squid's muscles tense as it prepares to attack. Elastic energy builds within the tentacle stalks, stored in specialized muscle fibers that function like compressed springs. Meanwhile, the tentacle clubs at the ends of these appendages orient themselves toward the target, their surfaces lined with rows of suction cups designed to grip prey instantly. The lanternfish drifts closer. It adjusts its position slightly in the water, its bioluminescent organs flickering faintly as it swims through the migrating cloud of organisms rising toward the surface. The fish senses movement around it, but perceives nothing immediately threatening. Then the squid strikes. The tentacles explode outward in a sudden blur of motion. Within fractions of a second, they extend several times the length of the squid's body, slicing through the water like twin capture lines launched from a harpoon. The lanternfish attempts to react. Its body begins the rapid escape maneuver typical of small pelagic fish, curling into a tight arc before launching forward. But the strike begins outside the range the fish anticipated. Before the lanternfish completes the first phase of its turn, the tentacle clubs slam into its body. Rows of suction cups clamp down instantly. The elastic recoil of the tentacles pulls the captured fish back toward the squid's waiting arms. The 8 shorter limbs surge forward to wrap around the prey, securing it against the predator's beak, hidden beneath the cluster of limbs. The entire event unfolds in less time than the blink of a human eye. Around the scene, other lanternfish scatter in brief flashes of silver and green light. But the squid has already begun feeding, its beak slicing through the prey, while the arms hold the fish firmly in place. The squid's feeding apparatus reveals another remarkable adaptation. At the center of the arms lies a sharp, chitinous beak resembling that of a parrot. This structure allows the squid to bite through scales and bone with surprising force. Inside the mouth, a rasping tongue-like structure known as the radula grinds food into smaller fragments before swallowing. After finishing its meal, the squid releases a small cloud of ink into the water. The dark plume spreads outward briefly, creating a shadowy curtain in the surrounding water. Though no immediate predator threatens the squid, this defensive behavior appears almost reflexive, an evolutionary precaution developed over millions of years of encounters with larger hunters such as tuna, dolphins, and deep-diving whales. The squid propels itself upward again, rejoining the moving layer of organisms migrating toward the surface. Throughout the ocean, countless squid repeat similar hunts each night. Some species operate alone, while others gather in loose groups where multiple individuals pursue prey simultaneously. Their presence exerts a powerful influence on the structure of midwater ecosystems. Small fish migrating upward must constantly balance the benefits of feeding near the surface against the risks posed by these tentacled hunters. The squid's long-range strike reshapes this balance. In open water, prey animals typically rely on detecting predators early enough to begin escape maneuvers. But when the predator's reach extends suddenly across unexpected distances, that calculation changes dramatically. For many midwater fish, danger does not arrive as a nearby threat. It arrives as something that begins far away and closes the gap almost instantly, pulled across the water by two lightning-fast capture lines. Above them, the ocean surface reflects the first faint glow of moonlight as the night migration continues. Millions of small creatures drift upward through the darkness, unaware of the hunters weaving silently through the layers below. In this vast vertical world of the open sea, survival depends not only on seeing predators nearby. Sometimes it depends on surviving attacks launched from far beyond the distance where escape even seems necessary. Morning arrives quietly across the tropical coastline. The sea appears gentle, its surface broken only by slow ripples moving toward a shallow sandy bay bordered by mangroves and coral patches. Sunlight pours into the water with unusual clarity here. Unlike the darker reefs farther offshore, the lagoon remains relatively open, its sandy bottom reflecting light upward so that the entire water column glows pale turquoise. Small fish move lazily through the shallows, grazing on plankton drifting in from the open sea. Shrimp hover near seagrass blades, and juvenile fish patrol the sandy flats where food collects in the gentle currents. At first glance, this seems like one of the safest places in the ocean. There are few large predators in water this shallow. The coral structures that might hide ambush hunters lie farther away along the reef crest. Even sharks rarely patrol the warm, enclosed lagoon during daylight hours. To many animals, these calm shallows function as nursery grounds where young fish and invertebrates grow under the protection of shallow water. But danger here does not arrive in the form of teeth or speed. It drifts. A shape moves slowly through the sunlit water, so transparent that at certain angles it disappears almost completely. Only the faint outline of a cube-shaped bell reveals its presence when sunlight strikes the thin tissue just right. Beneath that delicate bell extend long, trailing threads that sway gently with the movement of the current. This is a box jellyfish. Unlike many jellyfish that drift passively through the ocean, box jellyfish possess a surprising degree of control over their movement. Their bell contracts rhythmically, pushing water downward and propelling the animal forward with slow but deliberate pulses. In calm conditions, they can swim with surprising accuracy, steering themselves toward areas where prey tends to gather. Yet even when the jellyfish moves intentionally, its hunting method requires no pursuit. The true weapon lies in the tentacles. From each corner of the bell hangs a cluster of long, almost invisible strands that may stretch several meters through the water. These tentacles drift behind the jellyfish like threads of living silk, swaying in the current with a motion that appears gentle and harmless. But along their surfaces sit thousands of microscopic capsules known as nematocysts. Each capsule contains a tightly coiled harpoon-like filament loaded with venom. The mechanism remains under extreme internal pressure, held ready by a delicate trigger sensitive to touch and chemical signals. When the tentacle brushes against the surface of another animal, the trigger activates instantly. The harpoon fires. The filament shoots outward with extraordinary speed, penetrating the skin of the victim and injecting venom in a fraction of a second. Individual nematocysts are microscopic, but the density of these capsules along the tentacle means that a single brush can deliver dozens or even hundreds of stings simultaneously. And unlike predators that rely on a single decisive strike, the box jellyfish creates something far more subtle. It creates a field. The jellyfish continues drifting through the lagoon, its tentacles spreading behind it in slow arcs. The water around the animal becomes a kind of invisible fence, where danger exists not at a single point, but across a wide area. Small fish swim through the lagoon in scattered groups, feeding on plankton and tiny crustaceans carried by the current. Their senses are well adapted to detecting movement and shadows in the water. A darting predator or approaching shark would trigger immediate escape responses, but the box jellyfish offers no obvious warning. Its body remains almost perfectly transparent. The tentacles reflect little light, blending into the bright background of the sunlit lagoon. To the fish moving through this environment, the water appears empty. One small anchovy drifts slightly away from its school. The fish turns briefly toward a patch of plankton drifting just below the surface. Its body tilts upward as it snaps at the tiny organism suspended in the water. The anchovy swims forward another few centimeters. Its flank brushes lightly against one of the trailing tentacles. The reaction is instantaneous. Hundreds of nematocysts fire simultaneously along the contact point. Microscopic harpoons pierce the fish's skin, injecting venom that spreads rapidly through the tissue. The anchovy's body jerks violently as its nervous system reacts to the sudden chemical assault. The fish attempts to swim away, but the damage has already begun. The venom of box jellyfish contains a complex mixture of toxins that interfere with cellular function. Some components disrupt the membranes of red blood cells, causing them to rupture. Others attack the nervous system and heart tissue, interfering with the signals that control muscle contractions. For small fish, the effect can be immediate. The anchovy's movements become erratic as the toxins spread. Within moments, its coordination fails, and the fish begins drifting helplessly through the water. The tentacle tightens slightly. Though jellyfish lack muscles capable of gripping prey in the traditional sense, the sticky nematocysts help hold the captured fish against the tentacle's surface. As the jellyfish continues pulsing forward through the water, the immobilized prey is slowly drawn closer to the bell. Other tentacles brush against the fish as it drifts closer. Each contact triggers additional waves of nematocyst discharge. The venom accumulates, stacking its effects until the prey's muscles cease functioning entirely. Eventually, the anchovy reaches the underside of the jellyfish's bell. There, specialized feeding structures guide the immobilized fish toward the animal's mouth, located at the center of the bell's underside. The jellyfish begins digesting its prey, as the tentacles resume their slow drifting motion through the lagoon. Around the predator, the water appears unchanged. Schools of fish continue moving through the shallow bay, unaware of the nearly invisible hazard suspended among them. The jellyfish drifts onward, leaving behind a shifting network of tentacles that function like a trap spread through the water. Unlike predators that must chase prey across large distances, the box jellyfish allows the environment to deliver victims into contact with its weapons. The lagoon itself becomes the hunting ground. These shallow coastal waters often contain dense populations of juvenile fish and small crustaceans drawn by the abundance of plankton and shelter from larger predators. For the box jellyfish, this concentration of life provides an ideal feeding opportunity. The jellyfish moves slowly along the edge of a seagrass bed. Sunlight filters through the swaying grass blades, creating patterns of light and shadow that ripple across the sandy bottom. Small fish weave between the stems, grazing on algae and microscopic organisms attached to the grass. The jellyfish's tentacles drift among the plants. Another fish brushes against a strand. Again, the microscopic harpoons fire. Again, the prey's muscles falter as the venom spreads through its body. Over time, the jellyfish accumulates several small fish within its feeding structures, each one captured not through pursuit, but through simple contact with the drifting field of tentacles. For the animals of the lagoon, the greatest danger is not speed or teeth. It is the absence of warning. Predators that chase prey often reveal themselves through motion or turbulence in the water. But the box jellyfish creates a different kind of threat, one that exists silently within the water itself. A fish does not see the attack coming. It simply crosses an invisible boundary. And within that boundary, the ocean briefly transforms into a lethal fence woven from nearly invisible threads. Far from any shoreline, where the ocean deepens into a vast pelagic wilderness, the surface seems almost deceptively calm. Long swells roll across the water with slow, rhythmic motion, their crests flashing white where sunlight strikes them. Beneath that shifting skin of light lies a different world, one defined not by coral structures or rocky coastlines, but by distance itself. The open ocean stretches in every direction without boundaries, and life here survives by mastering movement across enormous spaces. Schools of fish travel constantly through these waters, following invisible pathways formed by temperature gradients, nutrient currents, and the drifting clouds of plankton that rise and fall with the daily pulse of sunlight. In this seemingly endless blue, a school of sardines moves like a living river. Thousands of fish swim in close coordination, their slender bodies reflecting light in flickering patterns that ripple across the group. Each individual maintains careful spacing from its neighbors, responding instantly to subtle changes in direction or speed. The school behaves almost like a single organism, turning and twisting through the water with fluid precision. This coordination provides safety in numbers. Predators that attempt to isolate a single fish often find themselves confused by the shifting mass of silver bodies, each reflecting flashes of light that make it difficult to focus on any one target. But the open ocean contains hunters that do not rely on sudden ambush. In deeper water below the school, a formation of powerful shapes moves steadily upward. Their bodies are thick and muscular, built for sustained speed rather than short bursts of acceleration. These are tuna, among the fastest and most enduring swimmers in the ocean. Unlike predators that rely on stealth or camouflage, tuna dominate the pelagic environment through relentless motion. A tuna's body reflects this lifestyle. Its shape resembles a living torpedo, tapered at both ends to minimize drag as it cuts through the water. The skin is smooth and rigid, reducing turbulence as the fish moves at high velocity. Beneath that streamlined exterior lies an extraordinary engine of muscle and physiology. Tuna possess dense networks of red muscle fibers capable of sustained aerobic activity, supported by large hearts that pump oxygen-rich blood through the body with remarkable efficiency. Yet perhaps the most unusual aspect of their biology lies in their temperature control. While most fish remain at the same temperature as the surrounding water, many species of tuna maintain body temperatures higher than the ocean around them. Specialized heat-exchanging blood vessels allow warm blood leaving the muscles to transfer heat to cooler blood returning from the gills. This system, known as regional endothermy, preserves warmth within the swimming muscles and vital organs. The result is a predator capable of maintaining high performance even in cooler waters where other fish would slow down. This physiological advantage transforms the tuna into a hunter built for endurance. The school of sardines above remains unaware of the predators rising from below. Their attention focuses on plankton drifting in the upper layers of water where sunlight fuels microscopic blooms of algae and zooplankton. The sardines feed continuously as they travel, filtering small organisms from the water while maintaining their tight formation. The tuna approach gradually. Unlike predators that attempt immediate capture, tuna hunts often begin with sustained pressure. The predators circle beneath the school, swimming in wide arcs that gradually tighten around the moving mass of fish. Their presence does not initially trigger the dramatic panic seen in bait ball events. Instead, the tuna begin to disrupt the school's structure through repeated passes. One tuna accelerates upward through the lower edge of the school, scattering fish momentarily before continuing forward into open water. Another follows from the opposite direction, slicing through the group with equal speed. These strikes are not always intended to capture prey immediately. Often their purpose is to fragment the precise coordination that keeps the school functioning as a defensive unit. The sardines react quickly. Their bodies flash in synchronized turns as the school attempts to reorganize after each disturbance. For a moment, the formation regains its cohesion, compressing tightly before expanding again as individuals resume feeding behavior. But the tuna do not retreat. They return again and again. With each pass, the predators increase the level of disruption within the school. The sardines must constantly accelerate and turn to avoid the charging hunters, and these repeated evasive maneuvers begin to tax their energy reserves. Coordination that once seemed effortless now requires constant adjustments. Within the school, small gaps begin to appear. These gaps represent the early stages of a much larger breakdown. Schooling behavior relies on rapid communication between individuals through visual cues and water pressure signals detected along the lateral line. When fish maintain tight spacing, these signals propagate through the group almost instantly, allowing the entire formation to respond to threats as a single unit. But under sustained pressure, communication begins to falter. A tuna surges through the edge of the school, its jaws snapping shut around a sardine before the prey can react. The predator continues forward without slowing, swallowing the captured fish while maintaining its momentum. Nearby sardines scatter briefly before attempting to reform the school once again. Another tuna attacks moments later. The predators are not coordinating in the complex formations seen in dolphins or orcas. Instead, they apply continuous pressure through endurance. Their superior swimming ability allows them to maintain high speed for long periods, while the smaller sardines must expend precious energy every time they accelerate or turn. Gradually, the school's movements become less synchronized. Instead of flowing like a single organism, the sardines begin responding individually to approaching predators. Some fish turn left while others dart right, creating momentary collisions within the group. These small disruptions spread quickly through the formation, amplifying the chaos as more individuals lose their orientation relative to neighbors. For the tuna, this is the critical moment. The predators accelerate again, attacking from multiple directions as the school's coordination collapses. Individual sardines break away from the main group in desperate attempts to escape, but the open ocean offers little protection once the safety of the school dissolves. A tuna streaks through the water with astonishing speed, intercepting a fleeing fish before it can regain cover. Another predator lunges upward through a cluster of scattered sardines, capturing two in quick succession before veering back into deeper water. Above the water's surface, seabirds begin to notice the disturbance below. They circle the area, their keen eyesight detecting flashes of silver where fish break formation. Soon they dive into the water, snatching prey near the surface as the tuna continue their relentless assault from below. The entire water column becomes a vertical hunting ground. The sardines attempt to regroup repeatedly, but each new formation lasts only moments before another charging tuna disrupts it. The predator's endurance allows them to maintain this pressure far longer than the prey can sustain their defensive maneuvers. Eventually, the school fragments completely. What began as a tightly coordinated mass of thousands becomes scattered clusters of fish swimming in every direction. Without the protective geometry of the school, individual sardines become easy targets. Tuna sweep through the water with controlled precision, capturing prey in rapid succession while conserving enough energy to continue hunting. For the predators, success emerges not from a single dramatic strike, but from a gradual erosion of the prey's defenses. The hunt continues until the remaining sardines scatter across the open ocean, their formation permanently broken. The tuna slow their pace slightly, their bodies still moving with steady power as they consume the final remnants of the school. Around them, the pelagic world returns to its quiet rhythm. The surface swells roll across the water once again, and the seabirds drift away in search of other feeding opportunities. Yet beneath that calm lies the evidence of a strategy perfected by evolutionary time. In the open ocean, survival often depends on cooperation, but endurance can break even the most organized defenses.